There you go. I can hear you. Now I have an echo. Echo. Still an echo. Echo in my ears. Test, test, test. Test, test. Yeah, I can't do it with this echo in my ear. What's going on? Test.
How's that? Good. Comes the intro. Stand by.
Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
I'll have Austin start.
We're not live on Rumble. Can't really go anywhere until we're live on Rumble. Well, for those of you that are joining me everywhere else but Rumble, hang tight here for a minute. We're going to try and get this going on Rumble. In the meantime, go ahead and hit the share button. It worse than all right. Are we on? We are, we're not.
Austin is starting the stream right now. Just started it.
Just started the stream. Okay, for those of you that are joining us a little bit late, we came to you late on Rumble. We're not on Rumble yet. We're still not there. And I'm committed, so I'm going to sit here till it's done. There we go. We're up. Ah, boy. Today is, what a day. It is Tuesday, November 11th. First of all, I want to say happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that are out there. I want to tell you right now that without the veterans, without the people that served, we wouldn't have a nation. And even with all the stuff that's going on right now, which I'm going to get into with Michael, I think it's worse now than it was when Biden was president. It's worse now. See, we expected the left to do what they did. We did not expect for our side to do what they've done to our own people. People that have been fighting for the last 5 years, whistleblowers that have given up their lives, people that have, while their wives are 8 months pregnant, selling their home, becoming homeless because they felt it was their duty to stand up for the American people. I want you to know that there hasn't been one whistleblower that's come forward in the last 30 years that has been treated kindly. Not one. Give me one. Give me one that wasn't berated by the media, that somebody called in and said, oh, we have to destroy their credibility. The FBI whistleblowers aren't the first, they're not the last. Steve Baker went and found the J6 pipe bomber, and look at where he's at right now. Even Glenn Beck came out and said, oh, I got to backpedal. Look, but this is not something new to Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck did this same thing in 2012. The Million Man March, you remember it? It was scheduled to happen in Washington, D.C. And just 12 hours before he was set to go on stage, he said, it's gotten bigger than I thought it could get. And he canceled it. And with it, he canceled the hopes and dreams of millions of men. Because that's really what he was grabbing at. He was grabbing at men. Men that knew that there was something going on, that something even back in 2012 didn't smell right. It wasn't, nothing seemed to be going the right direction. Obama was in office. This is the same year they passed the Smith Modernization Act. I'm going to start here though. Here's a video. We're gonna honor the veterans first. So here's a video that I want to put together that they put together that honors the that honors those that fought, dating back all the way to Normandy and all the way up to the sacrifices in Afghanistan. Let's go ahead and play it.
Across oceans, jungles, mountains, and deserts, and battlefields and enemy camps across the globe, our veterans fought and bled to vanquish our enemies and preserve America's birthright of freedom. Because of you, America is safe. Because of you, America is strong. Because of you, America is free. And because of you, America will forever remain the bravest, mightiest, and greatest nation on the face of the earth.
And then we had this video that was put out by DHS to celebrate our veterans. Let's play it. So to all my brothers and sisters that served, thank you. I want to give a quick update on the pipe bomber, but I'm going to actually have Michael Vecchione join us. I think I said it right for the first time ever. But I'm going to have him join us. And let me just tell you, he's been on before, and he's a legendary chief of homicide and rackets. He was a prosecutor who toppled corrupt judges. And the reason why we're having him on is because I want to talk to him about what the DOJ is doing to Comey, to Letitia James. This kid glove treatment, treated as if they're above us. They're being treated as elites. They're being treated as if they're a part of a club that we're not in. At the same time this is going on, the FBI is touting that they've broken up the biggest gambling environment in NBA history. It's not hard, by the way, to take from people who literally grew up poor, went and played basketball. They don't see the same caution signs. Michael Vick is a perfect example of that. He got into dogfighting. It was something that had gone on traditionally through much of the South. So yeah, did he think it was illegal? Sure. But you don't think about the consequences of something that's been going on around you for decades. You can gamble, but you can't gamble if we don't tell you you can gamble. If you don't pay us our vig, if you don't do it under our watchful eye. You're not allowed to do anything that's corrupt because we got that handled. They change the rules over and over and over, go after these guys. Look, I am not apologizing for the fact they committed a crime. I'm apologizing for the fact that we cannot have an equal application of laws applied to all of us. That is not happening. We are living in two separate worlds right now. And what they've done to Comey and what they've done to Letitia James, it just shows you just how broken our system is and how corrupt our judges are. So we're gonna go through some things with him, but I'm gonna welcome him to the show. And then I'm going to talk to him about Julie Kelly because he was an investigator in his own right. So I think he'll understand what I said about Julie Kelly. I'm not asking him to take a position on Julie Kelly, but I will say this. Even if my closest friend committed a crime and my job is to take care of and to root out a crime, then he's got to do the time. Sorry. Because you can't just have two sets of rules. And that appears to be the case now. So Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe. For having me. Your opening remarks there really hit home because, You've mentioned that I put judges away and politicians away, and exactly what you are saying is happening now was happening back then. In terms of they meaning the politicians and the judges, thought that they were above it all, and nobody would ever come looking for them. And I mentioned this last time I was on. A juror said to me after the case was over, how come this has gone on so long and we've never heard of this before? And my answer to her was, nobody looked. Nobody looked. All they did was put blinders on. And that's what's happening now. You mentioned Comey, and it annoys the hell out of me that this guy lied to Congress. Forget about just all the rest of this. But to me, you want to make a message, you want to send a message. This guy lied to Congress. Show what he said in Congress, and then put the evidence up as to how that was a lie. That is a slam dunk kind of case. Instead, we're going to sit around for the next months, who knows, maybe years, dicking around with this case. And at the end of the day, this guy is going to get some kind of a deal because some judge that he's in front of is going to talk a prosecutor who has no balls into caving. And I really find that to be disgusting, frankly. So,
Michael, I think
agree
we're in a very dangerous time, right? And the dangers that we're in right now is I've seen both sides. So I've grown up poor. I've seen what the system can do. Killed my brother. It's done damage to lots of people, right? So I've seen the bad part of what you did in your job by corrupt people that literally built the school to prison pipeline that didn't act ethically. I'm sure you had to deal with many of those people. You had to set limits on people on your side as well. And I'm not saying that it was pervasive, but now it's pervasive. Now it's pervasive.
Yep. No doubt. I mean, these cases against these guys, Comey and Letitia James. Letitia James, another one. I remember her when she was a council person, and she would be she was in that office when I was in the DA's office, and she'd be with us and complaining about this, that, or the other thing, and she's always seemed to hold herself above it all. That all of that stuff about Owen's above the law. Well, now she believes she is above the law. And this is another case where, is it against the law to lie on an application for a mortgage? Yeah. I have the application. Her signature is on it. I can prove the lie very simply because she said her main residence was down in Virginia when she's a politician in New York State and couldn't even run for office if she wasn't a resident of New York State. So how difficult can this case be to prove? It can't be. It's not difficult at all. But yet it appears, she hires this Democrat lawyer and they're going to make a mess. And it's ultimately the same thing is going to happen, Joe. At the end of the day, something will happen to her, but it won't be what she deserves. And it won't be what maybe even they'll just simply say, this is a nothing with nothing. And it'll somehow find its way to the trash can and the courthouse. If this is what I did when I was working, I'd be out of a job. If I indicted someone, my boss stood behind it, stood up in front of a packed house of reporters and said, this is what we have, and this is what has happened. If I didn't follow through on that and carry through with it legally and totally, he would say, you know what, find another place to work. But it doesn't seem to happen.
So this is where it gets me. This is where it takes me to a place where those are just two examples, but we have a very, this is a telling example. The J5J6 bomber, right? That put basically pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC. The FBI put out a $500,000 reward. It's easy, by the way, to put out rewards if you have no ability to actually pay it out. Like this, I'll give you $2 million for the person that can tell me who put a dent in my shoe. I'm never going to tell you who put the dent in the shoe, and nobody else is going to tell you. So,
yep.
But on this J6 bomber, Julie Kelly is good friends with Dan Bongino, sided with Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is the deputy FBI director.
Right.
And Kash Patel. So I don't know if you've been following this. You probably, in cursorily, have been following it.
Yeah, I haven't followed it, with intimately in terms of every story, but I know what we're talking about.
So the FBI all along knew who the pipe bomber was.
Mm-hmm.
They knew. So Julie Kelly and Steve Baker over at The Blaze broke this story by using what's called a gait analysis. Gait analysis is the way you walk. So
Correct.
It's commonly used by intelligence communities all over the world. It's used in China. It's used in it's as exact as your fingerprint. Especially if you have any like comorbidities or you have any injuries, that'll add to that the ability to distinguish that gait analysis. Right. So they all came out and said after, first of all, people in the FBI, including people at the highest level, called The Blaze and said, you need to fire Steve Baker. Right. This story can't get out. That's what they did the day before the story came out. And then Steve's like, well, we have a dead to rights. We have some other information as well. So then they forgot about the FBI agents that were in January of 2021 were actually watching the home of the person that was right next door to the pipe bomber. The next door, like kissing doors.
Yeah.
Right? They forgot about that. And they also forgot about all the other details in those reports that on and about the middle of to the end of January, those reports, they took them off of the door, nothing to see here, swept it under the rug, because they knew. And that person, Kirchhoff, then went to go work for the CIA. Here, we're going to reward you. The person that is the bomber went to work for the CIA. I'm sorry?
It's bombers, what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the Capitol police officer that instigated and shot on January 6th people innocently above the chest. In other words, was aiming and shooting people in the face with smoke grenades and less than lethal ammo, right? On tape, doing that, then was rewarded after being the J6 bomber, J5th bomber, the night before that, to go work for the CIA and security detail. Okay? So Julie Kelly comes out. So I'm trying to set this up. If you were a DA, I was bringing you this case. Keep in mind they tried to get Steve fired. Keep in mind they had nothing to say until Sunday night. 2 days later, that's when the FBI came out and said, "Oh, we're still looking for the J6 bomber. If you have any information, it's a $500,000 reward." That was their response 2 days later after this pushing out that this was the bomber, right?
After having the information.
After having the information the entire time.
Right.
So this is the most disgusting yet obvious. Everything else is pretty obvious too. The elections being stolen, super obvious, right? All the information related to that, super obvious. The gaslighting that happens in the media, all is obvious. But this is next level. They made this woman a victim. And Julie Kelly had this to say. Let's put up that tweet. She was said, frankly, it looks like Julie Kelly is running cover for new incompetent friends in the FBI. Right? And she goes, nope, I'm in fact, I've stated very clearly I do not believe the devices were placed on January 5th, which continues to be the position of the current FBI. I also said that I share the frustration that the feds still have no suspects and we have no more info, which allows the vacuum to be filled with nonsense. Okay? Michael? They said that their new story, they have someone placing these pipe bombs, placing them January 5th. This person is at the DNC and the RNC. They're not next door to each other. This is not the Jeds and the Clampetts, right? They have the information for the train that she used. They have the information of being picked up at the train station and driven back home. They have all of that. And now her new deal is it wasn't placed on January 5th.
Why? Why?
Well,
What's your theory as to why this has turned the way it has? I'd like to hear it. I need to be educated somewhat, and I'd like to know what you're talking about.
Well, I think what I'm talking about is that we don't need a third party, we need a second one.
Okay.
In other words, it doesn't seem to be any different that there's a concerted effort on both sides of the political aisle to sow discontent and sow unrest and chaos with the populace.
And no argument for me. That's absolutely the case. Absolutely the case. And the problem is that we who know this stuff and we who espouse it, you in particular, because you are now espousing that to all the people who are listening to you, don't make headway because you're not permitted to make headway, because as soon as you say this, somebody on the outside is going to say, you know what, Joe Oltmann's a piece, he is a liar. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's making this up. They just throw this stuff out there. Whether it's true or not, it's not true, but they throw it out there. And now it becomes somebody grabs it and puts it on X, or somebody grabs it and posts it on Facebook or something. Now suddenly this statement about you being untruthful about this now becomes part of the entire situation. And somebody says, well, hold on a second. What about that statement that Oltmann was not telling the truth? So how can we believe him? That's how things have gotten to the absurd, Joe, in this situation, in this country, and in the world we live in. It's become absurd. I could say to you right now, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, because I know what occurred. I know what happened. I don't know any of this, but I say it. And now someone listening to your show in an hour after the show's over and say, oh, he had a guest on who said that he knew exactly what was going on and that Oltmann is full of shit. That's what they'll say.
Yeah.
And people will believe it. People will believe it.
So there's a thing that happens when you're consistent, right? And you're overly consistent, and you're the last man standing, because they eat their own first, right? Mm-hmm. So eventually they'll eat their own, and I won't cater to the ridiculous. And I get, you know what, Michael, the reason why I get upset is because no person in their right mind that could call themselves a good person, ethical or moral, could walk past and say, in this case, they said, oh, the gate analysis it's not science.
Accurate. Yeah.
It's literally used to catch terrorists overseas. It's literally used by entire nations in order to catch criminals.
Right. Here's what they'll say, Joe. Let me just interrupt for 1 second, because I've been through this with other things like this in court. They'll say, okay, yeah, you're right. The agencies use it, but it's not necessarily accepted yet in a court of law. It hasn't been tested in a court of law. So that will be their excuse. Every intelligence agency in the world could use this, but if it hasn't gone into a courtroom and some judge says, okay, I'll accept it, then an appellate court says he was right, then the Supreme Court says he was right. Unless that happens, then it's not necessarily, they'll say it's not acceptable. It's not scientific. That's the argument. And I've been through this before with other things. And DNA was one of those situations. DNA started, this argument you made is what people made about DNA when it first came into being, let's say, in a courtroom. And I'm sure, one of the things that has never gotten into a courtroom is lie detector results, right? But I can understand that, because there's a lot of variables. But when the science is the science and you prove it scientifically, then it should be accepted no matter where it's going to be talked
Why
about.
Why did you say Tommy Carrick?
Say it again.
What are you guys doing changing the bottom of the thing on my show while I'm on it? The host of Tommy Kerrigan podcast, Adam Alexander. Are you okay? Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
It's those
that was
gremlins.
different. I changed my name and everything else. It got good.
See, someone will say, Oltmann's not even Oltmann anymore.
I'm
Did you
not
see
even
it?
Oltmann anymore. What happened to this guy?
And that Tommy Carrigan, that's who he is. He's a liar. He's a fraud.
Yeah,
So-
that guy. And that's it's how easy it is for you to say those words. I had a guy online, Michael. I had a guy online who's like, I don't believe that you were on the Antifa call. I was like, okay. Oh, come on the show. I will go through the entire show. I will go through all the stuff related to the call. Right? As I'll go through all of it, I'll put the information out in front of you. And then at the end of it, if you still do not believe that I am credible, you still do not believe, I will respect you for it. I got on the phone beforehand. I'm like, listen, I will be respectful for you the whole time. I want to show you, because I'm sure you've heard stuff out there. They've made this stuff up. I'm going to bring the receipts. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah. So we got on the show. It was an hour and 15 minutes long. At the end of it, he shook his head, and I go, okay. I've gone through the entire, it's still out there. The show's still out there. It's been seen 500,000 times. At the end of the show, I need you to now tell me what you think. Well, just so you know, if you don't believe, it's okay. And he goes, and he walked through it. He goes, based on this, based on this, based on this, based on this. He goes, it'd be impossible for you not to have been on the call and for him to not be on the call. Right? And I'm like, okay. So one guy at a time.
Yeah.
But because they have this large group of people in the media, like Julie Kelly, 800,000 people follow her. She gets out there, she says, nothing to this, this is terrible. She's doing the biddings of really bad people that's supposedly on our side.
Yeah.
On our side.
I shook my head because I can't really believe that. It's hard to believe that the people who've been screaming for 4 years under Biden are still in some shape, manner, or form doing some of the same shit that they pulled under Biden and Biden's DOJ.
Yes.
I see it, and I shake scratch my head and say, what is going on here? What is going on? The whole idea of this thing called the deep state, Joe.
Yeah.
Nobody can convince me that it doesn't exist and will forever exist in Washington. Nobody can convince me of that. No matter who's in power, whether it's
still
somebody on our side or someone on the other, it's there. It's there. And that's, in my opinion, that's who is at fault or who's at fault. That's who's behind what you've been talking about. I believe that. I believe it.
And I don't particularly fault Democrats or Republicans, by the way, like the people. And I look at this very differently because, and I used to say Democrats were all rapists and all this stuff, and I would try to demonize an entire party, and I was kind of embarrassed for myself for that very simplistic view, because the more I have conversation with Democrats and independents, and the more I actually still like them. Like I liked them before, right?
Yeah.
Some of them have different views than me. I mean, they're pro-choice. I'm pro-life, right? But I enjoy having conversations with them because some of them are very intelligent, right?
Yeah.
And so I have a hard time thinking, bad, good. And I know everyone's gonna get mad at me for saying that, but it's just true. People have different opinions. They see things from different paradigms, period, end stop. But this what is happening in the government now is almost like they have learned how to be evil. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, they've learned they have a stick, let's go use it. Let's just go use the stick.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree. It's a shame. It really is. It really is a shame. But I understand it. I understand it. And it's, what it is? It's the ultimate CYA kind of thing, and that's what it is. That's what it is. And why should you know the truth? Why should you know the truth? That's their attitude. I know what it's all about. You don't need to know it. I'm in control here. I'm the one who's calling the shots. You don't need to know it. And I believe that is why we are in such bad shape in this country, is that attitude is pervasive. And, as I said, I keep going back to my experience, but I saw that on a level of, the local level and the city level in terms of this kind of stuff. And it wasn't necessary for me to know stuff. It wasn't necessary for me to look. Don't worry about it. Don't trouble yourself with it. We're doing what we do, in terms of particularly these judges. And it was very, very, very frustrating, very frustrating. And who else is involved in this is there are lawyers who represent the people who we're talking about, who represent, the Comeys and the Letitia Jameses, and they will stop at nothing to put forward ideas that more than likely are not even close to being true. But because of who they are and because they have the media behind them, they can say what they want, and suddenly it becomes a fact. It becomes the truth because, hey, they said it. They would never say it. They would never say anything like that. And that's the same kind of thing we're going through with this business with the pipe bombs. The media says, no, it's not true. It didn't happen that way. So now everybody's expected to say, oh, okay, now that you said it, I understand you're correct. Well, it's not correct at all. So it's such a frustrating. There are times, Joe, I'll be home and I'll be by myself. My wife will be sleeping and I'm watching TV. I'll be watching Fox, let's say Fox News, and I have to turn this TV off because some of the things that I hear are just so frustrated listening to it. I just say, I don't, this is not the way I was brought up. This is not the country that I came to love. I just turn it off and I go to bed. It may sound like that I'm giving up, but I guess in a way I am for that particular moment. But I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how we can be in charge in terms of being able to say, you're wrong. You're wrong. This is the absolute truth, and I'll show it to you. And I guess that's what needs to happen. You need to have the kind of evidence that someone can't, dispel. And maybe that will cure it, but I have my doubts about that as well. They'll come up with some other reason.
Well,
The big one now is you made it up. You made it up. Oh, it's AI or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Or pictures, photos. Photos used to be something that if I had a photograph of a guy committing a crime, let's say, that was gold in a courtroom, right? Now, you know what the defense attorney says? No, you just made that up. The cops or the lab in the police department put his face on this, and that's that's why this picture is what it is. Not because he did what it's shown in the picture, but because you made it up. That's a very frustrating way to have to live, Joe.
Yeah, because good is bad and bad is good. Well, I went after Julie. In a very nice way.
Okay.
Let's put this up there. Julie has no idea what she's talking about. Julie Kelly, I think you are in the FA stage. You have no idea what comes next. Your reporting is trash. Please keep talking. I want to see what 800,000 of your followers literally realize you are not. This is a shitpost because shitposting is what you do when you are dealing with irredeemable shit. Love, Joe. And then I had to put on there fraud. Because what she said is, I will put my pipe bombing report up against anyone. This is not about credit or competition. It's about getting to the truth. Here's one of the first reports of the pipe bomb mystery, which disclosed law enforcement ties of the woman who found the RNC device right before the joint session of Congress convened on January 6th. So I went back and read it. So I read this report that has, and it's nonsense. It's made up drivel. But here's the thing. There are things in it, Michael, that are closely related in what they sound to what actually happened.
Yeah.
Which means she knows.
Yeah.
She's in the know with the people that know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the key. The when cops make an arrest, they try or investigate a case, there's a murder, let's say, and they keep certain pieces of evidence to themselves and don't release it. It's to test whether or not, when they get someone who confesses, does the guy know or the woman know what they are held back and not told the public? And that's what is happening here. What's happening is that somebody gave her the little pieces of information that they didn't release, and she released it. But to me, the operative words are little pieces of information. And you could take a piece of information, Joe, and spin it any way you want,
Right.
and it'll come out the way you want it, as opposed to the way it should come out. So it's it's diabolical sometimes. It really is.
It is.
It really
is. It is. It gets worse because, and I don't want to get away from Julie Kelly because I really want to get to Mamdani because I know you're there. And you're gonna have to deal with that. But I wanted this last piece. Kyle Seraphin had something to say about Julie Kelly, and he says, if you're wondering what some of you have wondered about the Julie Kelly rift. Here's an interesting DM exchange I had over a year ago. I don't always share everything, but you'll notice Julie has never commented on her donations. I suspect that this is right, and I did before the unsolicited DM. Okay, so let me read this. So somebody sent this to him saying, please do not reveal me if you repeat the story, but there's something you don't know about Julie Kelly. Here's the scoop. Julie's husband is a wealthy Democrat lobbyist. He's like a Mary Madeline James Carville marriage. He couldn't control himself and adhere to the individual donor limits, so he smurfed her. He used her as an additional vehicle to stuff campaign coffers. Now she's in a terrible position to reveal that he's broke the law, or quite quietly suffering the humiliation of looking like a hypocrite. I'd be effing furious if I were her. I know this because one of my good friends is very close with her. Mm-hmm. And Kyle has no patience for anyone. None. Just think about having no patience, and that's him on steroids. So He says, don't tell anyone, but I already know this. Which is why I put the story out. You aren't expecting her to out her husband as a campaign donation violator, are you? No, I expect her to allow him to break the law to benefit Democrats while fighting against them. Look at the name of yesterday's podcast. In other words, he's calling out the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Kyle is a truth teller, but all of these people are like, oh, Kyle's so bad. And they go out and they slander Kyle for telling the truth. And then the See You Next Tuesday comes on here and says, oh, I just want to get to the bottom of the truth. Michael, it's the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
I'm done talking about Julie Kelly and the pipe bomber that is never going to get prosecuted by the DOJ because they're all in on it. I will restate it again. I think we're in a more dangerous position today than we ever were when Biden was in office for 4 years because you could see the demons coming at you head in. Now the demons are in our camp and they're doing everything they can to hurt Americans while saying we're here to help.
Yeah, unfortunate. But I can't disagree with you, Joe.
Okay, so let's get Mama Mamdani. Bro, how are you going to live there?
Comey Mamdani.
Well,
I got news for you. Here's the way I've so far dealt with it myself. I lived and I was out on, let's call them the front lines, when we had David Dinkins as the mayor. When the city and A.B. before him, when the city there were 2,000 plus murders in New York City. We in Brooklyn had a good share of them. When the crime rate was off the charts, where you would go into the subway after dark. So I say to myself, is it going to be worse than that? I don't know, but I'll see. I also lived through 8 years of this idiot, de Blasio. I mean, this guy was an empty suit, had nothing going. And if somebody whispered in his ear, oh yeah, say you have to defund the police, then do it. Say this, he does it. It was just 8 years of frustration like you can't believe. But on the other hand, I didn't have anything happen to me. I wasn't mugged. I didn't have any, my wife wasn't hurt. So I said, okay, I survived.
But you have a gun.
The question now is, Do I? No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I don't have a gun. No, I don't. First of all, when I was a prosecutor, the DA, Mr. Hines, would not allow us to carry guns. And I was never interested in carrying a gun. If I had to do something, for a case, I always made sure I had a detective or somebody with me. When I was home, I take my chances. And I did. I tried to do what I used to do when I was a kid, and that is evade as best I could. Can I tell you just a little story? Only one time that I think that I wish that I had one. And this is what happened to me. I parked my car one night. I am in the midst of this entire corruption investigation I told you about. 7 years of this stuff. Plus, 2 of them were mafia. 2 of the people I was investigating were ex-detectives who were working for the mafia. I mean, it was a really very strange and difficult time for me. I park my car. It's late at night. I have to walk maybe 20 yards, 30 yards to my apartment building. As I'm doing that, I notice across the street from where I'm walking, a guy is walking diagonally across the street and going to meet me as soon as I get to my apartment building. So I start looking around. I had my briefcase in my hand. That was it. I look around, garbage can covers, whatever. Remember, I grew up on streets in Brooklyn. I knew how to at least try to defend myself. And I said, here we go. And I get to my apartment building. I couldn't get my key out fast enough, although I had it in my hand between my fingers. If I had to punch this guy, at least I would have hit him with the key. He stops me and he goes, and here's the other thing that scared me. He said, "Counselor." I said, oh shit, this guy knows who I am. I never even saw this guy before. So I stopped because I didn't know what else to do. I just panicked a little bit. And I said, who the fuck are you? And he says, oh, I'm your neighbor across the street. My name is so-and-so. And he says, I'm a correction officer. He said, when are you going to put that guy who I have to guard every day away so he goes upstate? That's what this guy wanted. He wanted to talk to me about a legitimate case, and he asked me a question about a guy who I had just convicted and put into Rikers Island. But this fright that gave me, Joe, was something which I will never forget. Obviously, I've told you in detail about what happened. But I never thought that I needed a gun. I just never did. And now that may change under Mamdani.
I'm getting
but the bottom line is, it's very difficult to get one in New York State. I used to when I was in private practice, I used to represent guys who were looking to get gun permits. And for some reason, were turned down by the PD. So my job and my law firm's job was to make a case, bring it to court, and have a judge rule on the situation. So, so I'm aware of how difficult it is to get a gun in New York. Now, pepper spray is another story, or mace is another story. If things got that bad, my wife and I moved out of New York City. I've lived here but I hate the thought of being, shifted or pushed out of the place where I grew up and where I've lived for the 76 years that I've been on Earth. So,
did you have anything to do with putting Michael Franzese away?
No.
You remember him?
I did. Yeah, sure do. His father was a big guy and a big mafia guy, but Michael. Michael went away and then turned. I mean, I know about his scams and the gasoline scams with the taxes and all this other stuff because I used to teach. I taught a course in St. John's University in the history of organized crime, and the Michael Franzese gasoline scam was one of my lessons. So I know all about it. And but I never had anything to do with him. I don't know if
I met him a couple weeks ago, like a month ago.
Yeah, well, he's now a big podcaster too. He's on all the time.
He's a good dude.
The guy who I know very, very well is Sammy the Bull, Gravano. And although I never had to put him in jail, but I did get to know him after he got out of the Arizona prison that he went into when he violated his deal with the government protection deal. So. but my point is that Mamdani, I'm not sure where it's going to go, but it's not going to get better in the city. I just hope that it doesn't get any worse than it is right now. I mean, it could very well.
It's pretty bad in the city right now. I mean, you have people
Yes, it
that are
is.
saying that it's and getting a concealed carry is nearly impossible. People are starting to carry guns illegally because they can't get access to it, and they're like I'm not going to be a target. And you have massive numbers of companies that are leaving the state. Now you have the fire chief that's been there a long time that resigned.
Right.
And
part of the reason he resigned is that he's Jewish. So he expected that Mamdani was not going to be favorable to him. And he's right. I would resign in a heartbeat. The one I hope doesn't resign is the police commissioner. She's done a pretty good job. Done a very good job, actually. And the problem is we don't have enough cops. And he ain't going to make any more of them, that's for sure. He's going to do everything he can to reduce them. I just saw today he started now forming this group that's going to show up at domestic violence crimes. The worst and most dangerous crime that a cop can respond to is a domestic violence crime because of the emotions that are involved. He's going to have social workers show up at those things. And this is what's going to happen. That's going to end first time somebody gets shot, one of the social workers gets shot. Then I think
should be day one because there's a lot of those cases out there.
Should be.
I mean,
Should be.
There's what's that?
No, I just say I don't wish that on anybody, but you're right. You're right. It's just a terrible situation. So
with all of his ties, like he was a part of the Arab Spring over in Egypt and Syria, fighting. I mean, he was actually a fighter. With all of his foreign-backed NGOs and the activist network that he's tied to, I mean, look, this is like a bridge too far almost. I mean, let's take crime out of the equation. What about the pilfering of the people of New York, the raising of taxes? He already said that he was going to overtax white people.
Yeah, he has. Here's his problem. Here's the problem. His problem is that he doesn't have the legal ability to raise taxes. He doesn't have that. The legislature is the one that has to pass those laws. But here's where my fear is. He came out of the legislature, and he's got a lot of people who are like him. These leftists, I hate the word progressive because it sounds like something that is good. It's not in this situation. He's got them there. And we have a governor who literally has no balls, but doesn't have any balls either in terms of how she's going to fold.
Okay, I got that.
You got it?
Yeah, literally. Okay. I was a little slow.
Yeah, no, that's all right. But is she going to cave? Is she going to cave under pressure when as the year goes on, gets closer to election day in November? Is she going to cave and say, I need these people to be on the street screaming for me, and I'm going to give Mamdani what he wants? Wouldn't surprise me in the least if she did that. So I'm really not I'm not optimistic about life in New York City for the next 4 years. And
are you going to stay?
For the time being? Yeah, I am. I've got I have my younger son and my two grandsons are here. My oldest son lives out on Long Island. That's okay. That's actually good. But where I would go is, believe it or not, I would go to Nassau County, just across the border. The guy who's in charge of Nassau County is this guy Bruce Blakeman, who is a very, very big Trump supporter, a guy who may run for governor himself. And he did something already that makes me feel good. He said, I'm going to load up the precincts in Nassau County that are along the Queens border with cops because I know that they're going to probably need our help when Mamdani comes in. So that made me feel good. So that may be what we do. Depends on, and I got to tell you, Joe, I don't know if you can't see it from here, from where you're sitting. I live in a beautiful apartment. It's a triplex. And my wife is a fashion designer, and she has her own studio upstairs on the third level.
Yeah.
And we have a 1,700 square foot terrace outside where in the summer and spring and fall, it's beautiful. I live right on the East River. I don't want to move out of this apartment. I really don't. This is a beautiful apartment that we've been here for almost 12 years now. So it would be a very difficult choice to make, but I'd make it in a heartbeat if I thought that either I or she or, my family was in danger. I'd do whatever I could to move out.
A lot of times it's too late when we figure out that it's gotten that bad. I just want you to have a gun in your house. So those are legal in New York. You at least have a gun in your house, right? And so I'm gonna send you a gun, I think. Think about all the things I could send you. I'm going to send you a gun. I might even send you a Trump gun. This has Trump's face
Trump
on it.
on it? Yeah, okay.
That way, when you got to be like, stick him up.
I do live in a doorman building, so it is we do have security downstairs, and no one can get up here without going through the doorman. So, but it's just why did the people of this city, the idiots who voted for this guy, I don't understand the rationale. I really don't. I just can't get wrap my head around it.
Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
Okay. Well, let me add one other factor to it.
Okay.
Do you know how many? I think I read it today. 300 or 400,000 Jews voted for this guy. How is that possible?
Well,
did they not understand and believe? Go ahead. So tell me why. Give me the answer.
What happens if you're under 50% in the popular vote? What happens in New York if you're under 50%? If no candidate gets over 50%?
Nothing. There is no runoff in New York. You just win. Whoever has the most votes wins. That's why.
I thought the mayor's race was a runoff race.
No.
You sure?
Well, if it is, it's something which I have never seen in my life, but I don't believe so. You might be thinking of the primaries. But it's whoever has the most votes, in my experience, wins the mayor's race. So it's
what? So they use ranked choice voting in New York?
in the primaries, not in the general election.
Okay. All right.
Which is another ridiculous thing. By the way, who my representative is in Congress and where I live? AOC. She represents this area of Queens and the Bronx.
Do you talk to your neighbors?
Have I talked to my neighbors? I have, sure.
Do you ask them about if they support AOC?
Yes, I do. And the only person who didn't give me a straight answer is in this building there is a cafe, a coffee shop. And it's an interesting coffee shop. It's a half coffee shop for people and also a place to bring your pets so they can run around and do things and you can feed them and all this other stuff. It's a very popular location. So I asked, she told me one day that she had AOC was there on a Saturday to do a talk of some kind. I said, how the hell did you have her here? Her answer was, she's the only one in office in this neighborhood. And if I have a problem, which I could have very easily because I own this place, I need someone to go to. And it's a default kind of thing, And it just, you scratch your head. She said, it'd do me no good to vote for someone else because A, they're not going to win. And B, I need her support if I have a problem with this place. So, and if you go, Joe, I can take you right now or any time of the day to her office. You will not forget about finding a light on. Forget about finding a person in there. You'll find the thing closed with a gate in front of the office. It's never open. That's our quote unquote constituent office. So
it's never open.
Never. I have never seen it open. Never. And I've passed it almost every day. I've never seen it open.
Because they don't care about the constituents. So I was going to tell you, I want to correct the record. So it is not a 50% rule, but they got 50.2%, I think is what he ended up getting.
Correct. He just made it a pass. Yeah. So 50% of the people voted against him.
Hold on a second. It's bigger than that because there's no ID in New York. You can basically call yourself Mickey Mouse and get a ballot.
Correct.
You don't have to be an American, so they can just import in a bunch of people to do. You can vote over and over and over again just by using names of your family and things like that. You could make up names. And
I could take Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is I could go into the polling place with the names of my neighbors.
Yeah.
And say, I can go in every, let's say, 20 minutes with a different name. No one would know the difference.
And they did. Look, the elections are fraudulent. The elections are fraudulent until you get to a place where the elections are not fraudulent and you don't have people that are loose rules that are designed to basically cheat. You're going to be a slave, right? And that's really what's happened in New York specifically. So, and across the country. So I'm glad I checked my math on the election deal because.
Yeah, is it possible that Mamdani will be so bad that he will have an effect on elections, let's say next year's midterm elections or into the future?
Well, I mean, so
that's the only positive that may come out of this whole thing.
But I mean, that's a positive. Yeah, I agree. That's a positive. But we had 4 years of Biden, and then we haven't won an election, not a special election, not anything.
Do I talk?
Since the day that President Trump won.
Okay.
Correct.
What is going on? Is that on your side?
Nope, sorry, we're checking a feed.
Okay.
Your next guest.
They're killing me. Guys.
Get in there. Take it.
Guys.
Okay, gone.
Wow. Okay. So maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. But President Trump won spectacularly on election night. And then all of a sudden, an area that was never blue in 50 years turned blue right outside of Philadelphia that's been bright red for 50 years. And all of a sudden, right after Trump wins, the Democrats win. And that we haven't won a special count. Look, in Douglas County, Colorado, it's the reddest part of Colorado. Wealthiest, reddest part of Colorado. The entire school board got flipped to radical blues. Entire school board. How is it possible?
Well, if you want me to put my conspiracy theory hat on, it's fixed. Fixed.
So why? So is now more dangerous than when Biden was in office? Because when Biden was in office, you could see the devil. Now we can't even get our side to admit there is a devil.
Exactly. And you know what? If anybody were to tell me you don't know what you're talking about, I can say I did this. I can't tell you how many cases about of how there was a corruption that undermined everything that was going on in terms of the elections in Brooklyn for judges. And judges in Brooklyn, judges in the city are powerful. The Supreme Court judge is not the be all and end all in terms of that's the Court of Appeals. But a Supreme Court judge has the ability to affect many people's lives and affect a lot of things in New York. So if it's fixed and somebody puts him in there because he happened to be, glad handing the Democratic leader, well, who the hell needs that on the bench? But that's the way it was. So it's,
Michael,
I don't know, Joe.
There's going to be massive numbers of, in my opinion, of victims that come in the next 4 years with Mamdani.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. It's not, my problem has nothing to do with who's elected. I actually don't care. I mean, if you want to be honest, I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, it's all fixed. Left, right, does it really matter? It's all fixed.
Sad to say, but I agree with you. It's really sad to say, but hey, the only thing that we could hope for, Joe, is that we're wrong. And I don't think that will ever happen. I don't think anybody will ever be able to prove to me that I'm wrong. So about this, it's awful. It really is. I agree. And I think about, I told you, I think I mentioned to you last time, I've got a 7-year-old grandson and I've got a 6-month-old grandson and an 18-month-old grandson. I worry about what will happen when they become, they get to the point of living as adults in this area. I just hope and pray every day that things change. But I don't know. I don't know. It's awful. So
yeah. Oh, brother, I'm really happy to have you on my side and that you know things that, I mean, you're I should call you Captain Obvious. Matter of fact, I'm going to get you, and I'm going to send you a gun. So now I got to teach you to shoot it because it doesn't sound like you've ever shot a gun. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
I shot a gun? Yeah, I've shot a gun plenty of times. In the police, when I was working at the police department in their legal division, I used to go down to the indoor range with the guy who was my CO, the CO of my office, and shoot his gun all the time. But,
so when you get one of these, so this is called a SAS, right? So I probably should clear it. Okay, so you can look down the barrel of it. You see how it has the sights recessed?
Yep.
So if I can get it just right so you can see it.
I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
You see that where the green dot is right there?
Yep.
All right, there it is. So that green dot you got to train yourself on that to be able to shoot. So I train with this. This is what you need. You need something like this, something small with good ammunition, with good ballistics. So somebody comes through that door, they get through your doorman, and it's a zombie apocalypse that you can take them out and protect your family.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna make it happen.
I'll thank you for it.
I'm gonna send you a gun. I think I absolutely, guys, put that down. I'm gonna send you a gun, and I'll call you after. What's that?
Yeah, I know that you got another guest coming up. I just want to remind you and ask you about having myself and the police officer who's the subject of my new book come on sometime. This guy and you might get married by the time the end of the show is over.
Well, I definitely want to have it. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll set it up for not next week, but the week after. Next week I'm traveling, but the week after I'll set it up if I can get you guys on. Does that sound good for you?
Yeah. The book might not be out by then, but we can still talk. Maybe we could do a series of, because there's a lot of stories in his life, and you'll really love this guy. I know you will. So, okay?
All right. So I'll make sure I get that set up so we can do that for sure.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
Okay.
And thanks for everything you're doing. And,
have a good one.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Stay safe.
Take care.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
All right, God bless you. So we have two sides of the show today. Michael's probably one of my favorite people. He really is. I do want to make sure that he has a gun. And the reason why I want to make sure he has a gun is because he's in the lion's den. He's in the most dangerous part, I think, right now, which is Mamdani. There's no telling what is going to happen when Mamdani takes office. Okay, we have a second guest. And are they in?
Stand by, Joe.
All right. Let me tell you, I wanted to have them in the studio, but they're not in the studio. I'm going to let them tell their story. I was talking to a journalist yesterday, and I told the journalist I'm enjoying my conversations. And I can go out and get guests, and I'll have guests on like Adam DeVarito is going to be on here soon. He's a good dude, super good dude. He's working in politics forever since Moby Dick was a minnow. I've got a ton of people that I could have on. They'd be like, oh, I know that person. I had Dr. Federer on, which I'm going to have on again. He's amazing, super, super good guy. He was the one that was with Charlie Kirk. I had him on yesterday. He was one with Charlie Kirk 4 days before he died. And is a wealth of knowledge. Matter of fact, I've just ordered his books, and I keep reading all these books, and I'm going through RCIA, and I have so much information in my head. It's like information overload. I have a seminar that I'm getting ready to take, which I'm super excited about, which talks about AI and how we're going to basically be able to meld that into accountability for large customers and blah, blah, blah. So I still do this stuff on the data side and trying to figure things out. But in the middle of all that, I told you about this brotherhood that I built. And it was about 9 months ago that I get a phone call. And he goes, hey, Joe, this is Adam. Now, I've known Adam, I think 20 years. Maybe a little longer than that. And Adam, man, he's such a good guy. but he had a tough patch. He had a tough patch in his life. He had a what I call rear view mirror. And he found the Lord. So he called me up and he's like, hey, listen, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. I'll let him tell the story. But I was in shock. I was like, listen, I was in the middle of a meeting and I was in shock with the call and I was like, I'll call you back. Well, I didn't call him back for a couple months. I did call him back, but I didn't call him back immediately because frankly, I got busy. But in the middle of all that, I connected with him on Facebook, started watching some of the stuff he was doing. And man, I was just really impressed with what he was able to accomplish. And you guys know that I work in the Dream Center and I love mentoring people back into a place where men can break off the rearview mirror. But I built this brotherhood group. And this brotherhood group's about bringing brothers together from all walks of life and see if we can be our brother's keeper. In other words, how do we take care of each other? How do we be of service to each other? How do we be there to just take care of things? So Adam invited some of the guys that works. He has a recovery center now that he works to, guys that get out of prison or guys that are on the street, and just tries to give them an upper hand. And it's all based on the foundations of Jesus. And I met these guys. Man, I was out of town the first meeting that they came to. I was driving with chickens for my friend. And we had a brotherhood meeting. And they show up and they told their stories. I'm going to let them tell their stories to you. But you could just feel it. You could just feel that these are just great men. And so I'm going to take the time. I'm going to walk through some stuff with these men. And I'll let them tell the story. And then I got to meet another young man on Saturday. We were out helping Dave. And we had to move a hot tub. And I basically asked, I was like, listen, brothers, I need help. We had this hot tub from one of our brothers to another brother's place. And, I want Dave to be comfortable, all the things that he's going through. And I had a podcast I had to do on Saturday. I had this special reveal that we were doing with Dominion. And he just said, don't worry about it. I'm going to show up. I'll handle it. Just send me the address. So I did. I ended up going over there. We helped. Thank goodness we had all of us, because this is like a 1,000-pound hot tub. But they showed up and they spent their entire day in service to someone they didn't even know. Didn't know anything about them. So I just want you to know that I have never felt so alive as I do today, yet so disappointed and disgusted by what we have in our leadership. And I look at it and I'm like, man, we have got to start standing together in this. We've got to find a way to bridge the gap between people without judgment. I mean, obviously evil's evil, right? But there's just something that happens when you can come together and you can support each other. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot more time. I don't, is he on or no? Are they on?
Yes.
What's up, my brothers from another mother?
What's up, Joe?
How you guys doing?
Well, about to cry. I don't feel like we're worthy of that introduction, but thank you.
No pressure.
No pressure.
This is your 1-year anniversary of Silver Linings.
We got the T-shirt to prove it.
All right, first, you got to introduce each other to the audience. Please say hello. Say hi.
Thanks for having us, Joe. My name's Adam Alexander, and I'm a soldier for Christ, and I'm blessed enough to be the owner of Silver Linings Recovery and Halo Reentry. And anything else I am is because of him.
Hi, my name's Jason Newman. I work for him. This dude right here happens to be my friend and my boss. Recently out of prison, and just thankful and glad that I got Jesus in my life. Good friends.
I look at Jason, by the way, and I got to tell you guys something. I mean, I love Adam. Jason, whole other level, man. This guy he just is such a good guy. I want you to tell a little bit of your story, Jason. I don't want you to spend too much time in that rearview mirror, but I want you to tell the story because when I met you, I get these feelings about people. I do. And you came to my office, and we went to a game. That was pretty awesome. Bucket list, right? And I was just amazed. I was amazed. So, Jason, I feel like I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
A little bit.
And you're only talking to a couple 100,000 people. So I need you to talk to those couple 100,000 people. I want you to tell them, about you. I want you to understand that people they're not judging you, brother. This is your chance to be seen and to be heard. And you'll get lots of these chances. Because I might just have you, like when you walk in my office, I might be like, Jason, you want to go on the show with me? Like I did with Jake yesterday. So, all right, floor's yours, brother.
Well, my childhood was like anybody else's. I had loving parents. They were divorced, but I had to pick the wrong choice in friends, and peer pressure's big deal where I was from. Long story short, I ended up going to juvenile prison a couple times in the 80s, stealing cars. Got out. I was emancipated, and not long after that, after I was emancipated at 16, I started really heavy into getting high and stealing and robbing folks. And then it ended up one night, I killed somebody. This somebody, in my humble opinion, deserved it, but that's something that I got to come to terms with, Jesus with, something I battle with daily. The guy that I killed was a sex offender, and I went to prison for it. I did 34 years, 4 months, and 3 weeks. 6 months ago, I got out. I was sleeping on an air mattress in my buddy's house. Not only on an air mattress, but in his infant daughter's room. And every day since then has just been a blessing, man. No matter how messed up it was yesterday or the day before, every day I wake up is a win. And then I got real lucky, and I was introduced to Joe through Country, Adam. And
we can call him Big Country.
yeah, Big Country. And that was the abridged version. That's about it.
But your life started to change in prison.
Oh yeah.
You had to deal with this knucklehead next to you.
Yeah. We
Adam,
met in prison.
Adam, tell him your story. Tell your story. I got more questions for you, Jason. Look, this is a
Tell
big
my story
deal.
how I met him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just gotten out of CSP, which is Colorado's version of AdSeg. And he was in I think you were in 4 Mile, and you just messed up and got to Centennial.
Mm-hmm.
And he was coming out of the hole. He went to the same prison that I went to. He came into my pod. And here's this, freaking Sasquatch, huge dude, and it's on me to check this guy's paperwork. You know what I mean? Because we don't want. Look, there is honor among thieves, I promise you. And we don't like to spend company with sex offenders and people like that, of that ilk. But he came in, and it's on me to check this guy's paperwork. He said, no problem. But secretly, I was like, I hope this dude's legit, man, because, you know what I mean? You're going to have to send 3-4 people after him. And believe me, I wasn't the one that went and checked his paperwork. I sent somebody else. But no, man, we met like, what was it? 4 years? How long?
Yeah, about 4.
Yeah. And we hit it off. We were tight. We were buddies. I went to a different prison. We kind of fell off of writing. We don't really write. And my parole plan fell through, many of them. And so I called Country one day and he just said, no problem. And it hasn't been a problem. You know what I mean? He saved my life. I don't know what I'd be doing if I wouldn't have had him and Silver Linings, but I know I wouldn't be doing as good as I'm doing now.
So let me Adam, let's go back. Let's go back in time. I've known you for 20 years ish, I would say. How old is Caitlin?
34, 33.
You'll be 34 this year.
Yeah, 34 on Christmas.
Yes. Yeah, 34. So she was 15, 20 years
13.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was moving and shaking back then.
Mm-hmm.
And you are my brother's ex-wife's ex-husband.
Yeah, that's a chain. That's that's accurate.
Pretty good.
That was
Yeah.
good.
And you hit some rough patches. We fell out of favor with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
By no fault of your own, for sure. And you're missing a huge part of that story that tells a lot about who you are, Joe. My then wife, Caitlin's mother, your brother's ex-wife, we had gotten a call that her and her father were going through some things, and he had full custody. And Billy Joe said, "That's my ex-wife. You know, let's call Joe. He can fix this." And I said, "Who is Joe?" She said, "It's my ex-husband's brother." And I'm like, "That's who we're calling?" And she said, "Yeah, he's got a dealership, and you'll know when you meet him." And we came to your office, and it was instant embrace. You said, "Well, this has got to change right now." And I think your attorney's name at that time was Mark. And within, 15 minutes, you called Mark in and said, "Hey, Mark, I don't know what you got going on for me, but stop all that and go and get Caitlin from there and put her here." And he did. Immediately. Not only that, as that was happening, we were living in the Springs. You were living in Parker. Your dealership was in Denver, and you said, "Well, I just want you guys closer." And we was like, "Well, we live in the Springs," and you said, "Well, I can fix that. I'm just going to go buy you a house. I want y'all close to me." And you bought us a brand spanking new house to put your niece and us in, and said, "Just go. Give me what you can, and if it's nothing, then it's nothing. I don't care." And treated all of us like family straight out the gate. You didn't know me from Adam. And that's a huge deal.
It's rare.
That's a huge deal, you know. And you've never done anything different. You were moving and shaking at that time.
Yeah, for a little bit.
For a little bit. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't want that story not shared because it's just indicative of who you are. Yeah. Thank you. It changed my life.
But you've gone through your ups and downs. I don't usually talk about the stuff I did because I think that it's, it's what you should do, right? Well, I am my brother's keeper. I am my niece's keeper. And, you called me, I think 7 months ago.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. and I was busy, and but I waited a little while to call you back. 2 reasons. One of which I lost your number, so I had to get it again because the time goes by and it rolls through your email. But we sat and talked, and I put a post up there that talked about the brotherhood, and we talked on the phone, and I was just incredibly. I could feel it. I could feel the difference in what you've done in your life, and just not just your life, but the life of the men that you surround yourself with, and ladies as well. But I'll just say the men have a tendency to get off the unbeaten path. And so we had this brotherhood meeting, and your parole officer came with you. So here's your brother in Christ, who was your parole officer, who works with you now, right? And I'm telling this story for you because I'm so amazed by the energy that you've created. This I call it godliness, and this is actually the most fun shows that I have because I can start talking about the redemptive quality, and I can sit here and listen to Jason. I'm like, yes. And it's a real yes. It's like, man, that's my brother, right? Let's go. Let's do this stuff. At the same time, you got to calm Jason down because he's got 34 years of junk in his trunk, right? But just the fact that you've been able to get out, you made a decision in prison that you were going to do something, and you're like, I'm going to go do this, and you did it. It's been a year. You have a year anniversary of Silver Linings, and tell everyone what Silver Linings is.
So Silver Linings Recovery is addiction counseling, homeless outreach, resources, and anything that we can think of that we can fit in that basket that's going to help people. It's a liquid organization that provides stability for people that have never had it, leadership for people that have never had it, guidance for people that have never had it, and resources for people that can't get it. A place to go and be safe and have the freedom to focus on something else other than the crap that's going on in the world, so they can focus on what's important, God first and everything else second. And we're busy all the time and we're doing all these things, but what makes that organization successful is that it's God first and everything else second. And what we've learned is that as soon as you do that, everything else is so easy. It takes care of itself. In Matthew, it talks about the birds and, don't worry about tomorrow. And what we realize is that the moment that you hold that, the moment that you believe that, and the moment that you harvest that, it's just true. I, Jason, and just about everybody else that I know started out with a troubled past and then took that past and made choices on our own based on what we were taught, and learned a lot of lessons the hard way. But the moment that we accepted God, the whole time that he was looking for us, everything else was taken care of. I don't mean we ain't got to go up to work and do our day-to-day and grind. But what it does mean is that we don't have to worry about it. If something in the world came to take everything from me today, I've got no concern. I've got God and God's army behind me. So what do I got to worry about? It's our mission. We're charged with following God's path, and we've each got a piece of it to walk. And I'm fortunate enough to hopefully be walking it the right way now, because I spent a long time not. And the people that walk beside me do the same thing. And that path consists of do for others first. Nothing else matters after that. You're doing for others first and everything else is taken care of. We preach that inside my immediate family, and all the way out to every person that I meet is that if you're always trying to make someone else's day better, someone else's life easier, and they're doing the same for you, then we're gonna be okay.
I would agree with that. In a lot of ways, I would definitely agree with that. Let's kind of, Jason, I'm gonna ask you some questions, put you on the spot there a little bit, because I want to address some things that I think are important. People go to prison, and you're basically forgotten. It's like you were never there. You get deleted. You get to live a single life. You wake up, you do the same thing over and over again. You did it for 34 years. You left behind some relationships that you had in prison with people that have been there and will probably die there.
Absolutely.
Is prison a place of rehabilitation? Do they really want to rehabilitate anyone in prison? You have a unique perspective because...
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is no rehab in prison. It's we're cattle, and they just stack us in there. I mean, we live in a prison-friendly state, and being a convict is a big business in Colorado. They make a lot of money off of us here. But as far as the rehab inside the joint, depending on what prison you're at, some are better than others. But I've been taking the same class since 94. The curriculum never changed, just the name of the class changed, So you're just getting fed the same stuff year after year after year, and it's just people just jump through these hoops to get their certificates so they can show it to their case managers and look good for the parole board.
Did you have any, is there like a institutional trade program with the Bureau of Prisons?
Yeah, there are a few, but you have to be, you have to play nice with other people in prison to get those kinds of jobs.
So it's politics.
For sure.
So there's no, so are you surprised that the
Civism?
I'm saying ambulance versus recidivism. Are you,
I thought he was having a seizure.
I did too. I was like, what is wrong with me? Okay, so are you surprised that it's nearly 60%?
No, not at all. No. Sometimes I've known a lot of people that just come back to prison because it's easy. Prison is easy. You don't have to be, you don't have to pay your bills. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be an adult. You don't have to be a productive member of society. You don't have to do any of that. You just get to go in, and it's a lot of people, that's all they've ever known too. Hey, I was scared when I was getting ready to get out because I was comfortable in my misery. That's all I knew. That's all I wanted to know. I was good at it, The streets, society, population, whatever you want to call it, man, that scared the shit out of me. Excuse my language. But it was just fear of the whole world had passed me by. It was like I was buried in a time capsule. They dug me up and said, okay, now go live the rest of your life. I was a teenager when I went in, and I just turned 53. I had an issue when I first got out because I was picking up my life where I left off, just as a teenager, and it doesn't work. But no, I just lost my train of thought.
No, it makes, remember what I said before on the board, if you go in at 21, you come out at 21.
Yep.
Right? And people don't understand that. They don't understand that time stands still for you when you're in prison because you don't have experiences. You don't have, they keep the real world away from you, and then when you get out, they expect you to acclimate to the real world. They treat you like animals, and then when you get out, you expect them to act like responsible adults.
Yeah.
Joe, but there's another part of prison and not everybody gets it when they're in there. There's lessons in life that I learned in prison that will stick with me forever, that made me a better man. Things that are told to you, but they're not enforced the same way in the world. You know, starting with your brother's keeper. You make that commitment in there, you will keep that commitment in there for sure, or the consequences are a lot more severe. Don't talk about anybody that ain't in the room. It ain't your business. Stay out of it. You know, there's a lot of lessons that you learn in prison, that if you're looking to learn a lesson, you'll get them. You'll get them, and they'll stick with you different. You know, but that's a low percentage of the environment that's in there are people that are looking to learn.
Well, but you don't, I mean, I think if you turn the environment into a place where people could learn, it'd be easier. I think if you made it easier for faith to be a part of it, I think if you put animals, you integrate animals into the prison system. And look, I'm not telling you, on the other side, I think there are some irredeemable people. I promise you there were some irredeemable people that you were at the prison with, right?
Yeah.
You have people like that dude's just flat evil, right? And there was the people that gravitated towards that evil person because they didn't want to be on the wrong side with them. And the people that said, I'm going to stay away from that person, right? There's, just like in real life, right? But I don't know, I look at it, I'm looking at it more from the lens of, you know, what you're doing, Adam, is you're creating an environment where people can thrive, raise the glass ceiling, break off the rearview mirror, really give people an opportunity to be men, to be who you know they are. The other side is that there's not enough of you to go around. There's not enough silver linings, which, you know, I don't want to talk about the incident that occurred, but you have a lot of people that are in even the environment you're in that maybe are not set up to do good.
That's true, unfortunately. And that comes from, I want to give people the opportunity they wouldn't normally get somewhere else. So and there's get and create. And, you know, I talked about a little bit earlier, everybody has a piece on the board. And one of my responsibilities is to create. Because of the choices that I've made in life, it's not as easy for me to go get the opportunity from somebody else, but it's much easier for me to create that for me and then share that with others, but not leave them in that spot. Silver linings as it pertains to the people that work there, and I say this in our meetings all the time, is a jar. And it's everyone's their responsibility to outgrow that container. No matter how big that container is, no matter how much freedom they have to be able to make decisions and grow, their responsibility to this world is to outgrow that container and then create their own. Put people in it and grow the people until they outgrow that container. And our mission is to change the world. It sounds ambitious and a little bit ridiculous, maybe cheesy, I don't know. I know that it won't be in my lifetime or my children's lifetime or my grandchildren's lifetime, but I do believe that the footprints that we lay today, the problems that we're trying to solve right now, we can do that. And just because we won't see it while we're still here on this earth, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. That means that we're laying the foundation for something greater. People that come from the background similar to ours are traditionally short-sighted. It's the quick high, the quick fix, the quick money. And that's not what we're wanting to do, because that's what's damaged this society. It's immediate gratification and me. You know, as opposed to creating a foundation for something that's going to make this world a better place and doing it for somebody else. You read the Bible, and I don't think it ever says anything about Jesus' house. You can't go to Bethlehem and say, well, that's where it was. Jesus could have House, car, women, money, drugs, whatever you want, snap right there. If he can make water into wine, he can do all those things. But that's not what he used him for. It was for all of his 33 years, it was for everyone else that's not him. And we're charged with doing the same thing. No matter what we do, we're going to fall short. No matter what we do, we're going to fall short. It just says it in the Bible. It's the answer's right there. Just go do that. And don't worry about you. You'll be taken care of. Don't bring food. Don't bring water. Don't bring provisions. Walk with me and let's go. And we're supposed to do the same thing. We don't always get it right. And I wish I'd have got it right a lot sooner, but I don't regret the lessons that I've had to learn. I regret the things that I've done that have hurt other people, but I don't regret the lessons that I learned because of the mistakes that I made. I embrace them. I'm proud of them. I wear them as a badge of honor, not because I'm proud to have went to prison or proud to be a convict, but because I'm proud to be a godly man. Today was our 1 year anniversary. And we fed 304 people in an hour.
Yeah.
And we didn't feed them ramen noodles.
No.
Or finger sandwiches. We fed them ribs and tacos and candy apples and
Cheesecake. And
plates and bowls overflowing. And before we did that, we had this huge prayer. And then after we did that, right at the end, the pastor from my church shows up with his crew. And he's like, yeah, I just want to come and congratulate you. And it feels good hearing that. But that glory isn't for me at all. That's God's glory. And and as he's in my office and things are kind of wrapping up and people are still congregating outside, I don't know, there's 100 people still there. He said, can I pray for you? I said, well, can we just go outside and pray for everybody? And that's what we did. You know, people, you know, that prayer they got today, and that from me, and that prayer they got from our pastor, that may be the only two they get this year. And it meant something to them.
All right. Can we talk about
They come
Michael?
up and they say thank you, and you know, it's natural reaction to say you're welcome. I'm here for you, but that's just that thanks does not belong to me. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to Jason. It doesn't belong to Angel. It doesn't belong to Caitlin. It belongs to God and God only. It's not mine.
You know, we talk about the sacrifices that you make and the suffering that you have. Like, you have to go through suffering. Suffering is just one of those things that you have to go through, and then who you can give that suffering up to, give it up to Jesus, because obviously you can't ever get to the place where you suffer more than he did. But one of the things that, you know, we were together on Saturday. By the way, thank you. David says thank you. And you got to meet Gordon, probably one of my favorite people ever.
Yeah.
That's a good guy.
Mr. Gordon.
Yeah.
Gordon, yeah, he was his first 100 years of his life, he was a accountant and sold out to Deloitte. Super successful guy, amazing man. Has been he is one of my best friends, and literally he's been there for me in so many ways. But you brought a young man with you. It's not our story to tell, but it is our story to tell right now. This guy was, you know, you found him on the street. Jason, tell us the story. Tell us the story of Michael.
Well, a year ago, he was homeless, strung out on fentanyl, starving. It's sad. I just met the kid myself. He had a rough go, man, and he's so young. He's only 23, just turned 23. And he knows a lot more than he should know as far as being out there and living that kind of life. It's lonely, it's cold, it sucks. Everybody's high, everybody hates you, everybody's stealing from you. It's not a life. And he found a way. Matter of fact, the way was country. And now he works for Silver Linings, and he's doing good. Stumbles here and there, but nobody's perfect. I just stumbled. But no, yeah, he's a good kid, man, and he's learning a lot.
He had a hole in his face. when I met him, and I met him at the warming shelter, which in this city, below 19 degrees and below, the city will put out money to different organizations, not ours, to open up churches and allow people to come in and get warm. And that's where I met him. And he had a hole in his face so much I thought you could see his teeth, and a fentanyl pipe in his hand. The rule at those warming shelters is come one, come all. This one in particular is at the Sanctuary Church. And we're just volunteering there. Just several lines of people are just volunteering there to serve food and clean up and do whatever we can do. And he's outside and he's smoking this fentanyl pipe. And one of my guys goes over and takes the fentanyl pipe from me. He comes to me, he says, "Country, this guy outside smoking fentanyl, took his pipe. He's good and pissed off. Can you come out and talk to him?" So I come out and talk to him. And the first thing I see is this hole in his face. And he's this young kid. He looks 19 and he's 23 now. So he was 22, 21. And I'm trying to explain to him, hey, look, I'm here to help you. Let me just talk to you. And he was like, "Look, first off, I'll listen to what you have to say, but not while you're taking my fentanyl pipe. That's not the rules. Give me my pipe back and I'll listen to what you have to say." And I'm like, "If I give you this pipe back, this pipe is going to kill you. I'm giving you the gun, putting it back at your head. This is going to kill you." And he was like, "Don't care. I'm out here freezing to death, and that's the only thing that's going to keep me alive is that fentanyl." I said, "If I give you this pipe back, are you going to listen to me?" He said, "Yeah, I'll listen to you, but I need that pipe back." And I said, "Okay, here's the pipe." Took it, put it in his pocket, and he goes, "Now, what do you have to say?" And I said, "Well, let's go inside and sit down and get warm, get some coffee, and have a conversation." And man, we sat there for 4 hours. At the end of that 4 hours, he handed the fentanyl pipe back. I thanked him for listening. He said he was going to lay down and get some rest. Next day, I see him on the street. "Michael, how you doing?" "I'm good." Because the temperature had warmed up some, not much, not anywhere where we would want to be outside, but they got to put everybody back out. So he's just back out on the street. So I stop and talk to him. He says, "Look, I want to get clean, but then what?" He said, "I can't get in anywhere. No sober living will take me because I'm a young, able male. And these things aren't for me. They expect that I should be able to do it on my own, and I can't, and I don't know what to do. But I'm trying." After that conversation, "Here's my number, man. Just give me a call. Just come see me. I can get you through this." And he doesn't. But what he does do is at that time he had a probation warrant. He turned himself in. It was his way to get off the street. It was God giving him opportunity. And he went into jail, and he got into this program called IRT, which is in CAE, which is in a halfway house. It's a intense rehabilitation therapy, 90-day inpatient program. And by circumstance, the people that run that program asked me to come in and speak to the people in there. So I go in just to give a normal conversation with these gentlemen, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, but don't be offended. I meet many people." And he goes, "Michael." And as soon as I says that, I see him, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Michael!" And he's fat and happy and skin glowing, and he's like, "I'm clean." And I just hugged him, and I start crying. And this is before I start talking to this group of men that are going through a struggle. And at the conclusion of that, I don't like to go in there because I hate to promote silver linings because I feel like I'm promoting my business, but I don't want to do that. So I promote this industry. And he says, "I'm getting out of here soon. Can I come see you?" I said, "Absolutely." And before I know it, 90 days had passed, and I walk into my director of operations office, and there he is. He said, "I'm here, country. I got my certifications. I'm doing this." He's like, "I'm scheduled for an interview. I'm scheduled for my second interview." And I said, "Well, good luck at that second interview. I hope I see you." And sure enough, he got that second interview, and he came in, and he's been guns a-blazing. He started out on the street team, which is guys that go out and do direct outreach on the street, on the trails. And everyone knows him because he's so fresh from there. He's such this young face. He sticks out. And him doing that shows the people that are still out there that he knows that he was in the tents and on the trail with. You can do it. You can do it. And not only can you do it, he'll help you, and so will all of us. Our organization works the same way as our family. One person brings you in, we all love you. You got one of us, you got all of us.
But he was on the street for 7 years, right?
Say it again?
He was on the street for 7 years.
7 years. 7 years. 7 years to 22, so 15 to 22. 15 to 22. Abandoned by one because there wasn't anyone left. A baby. A baby. And he is a QBHA certified peer recovery coach right now, and he is so proud to be doing that. He's changing people's lives while changing his own at the same time. He's setting up a future for himself. And he's in the SLR, he's in the container right now, and he is growing quick. And I can't wait for the day that he breaks that container and has one of his own, because that's how we're going to change this. That's how we're going to change the world. That's how there won't be 304 people coming in the building, or tomorrow another 1,000 or whatever it is. It'll be people like Michael Lala or Jason Newman or Caitlin Oltmann or anybody else that's at Silver Linings that go and create their own containers and change these people. When we run out of clients, we'll just go do something else. It's okay. I'll come work for Joe.
Put yourself out of business. You know what they say?
Put yourself out of business. That's the goal.
Put yourself out of business.
Yeah.
You put yourself out of business, and you just go, yeah. You're like, okay, well that was great. Nobody needs me anymore. That's awesome.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that hit me when you go from one life. I always say the difference between you and I is that when I was younger is that you got caught, I didn't. But one of the things that as you start to mature your life and you start to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, as you start to get involved in the part where you start reading scripture and you're like, man, I really don't, it's scary because you're reading it and you're like, I don't want to be that goody two shoe, because you still have this hard exterior. Like, I don't want to be the guy that's that good. It's hard. It's like this transition. You go like, no. I'm going to get to the part where I can say, F it, which is the two words that put men back in that position, put anybody back in that position. Just it only takes a couple little stumbles and you're right back in it where you were before.
Mm-hmm.
But you're deathly afraid to get back there. But you know you're going to go back there. So once you have one stumble, you're like, F it. I'm going there anyway. Because you're afraid to be who you know you can be. Right? And how do we fix it? You know, I'm all for, so I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. I'm all for holding people accountable. People need to go to prison for doing bad shit. Right? Nobody should be a victim. At the same time, how do we fix society to the point where there isn't the haves and the have-nots that are so divided? And this is the problem that I have. This is the struggle that I have in my brain. Like, I look at it and I go, well, I did it. Everybody's like, well, Joe, if you could do it, everyone could do it. That's just not true. The obstacles that I had to overcome in my life in order to get to where I am were immense. Immense. And Jason, you just said something. You're like, I just got done stumbling. Right?
Yeah.
And you just, on this podcast, just looked in the rearview mirror again.
Well, it's an old habit, man, you know. But I'm getting used to not looking, though. It's nice. It's not. It's nice not having to worry about the prison politics anymore. I can just come out here and be me, and by being me, I can help other people like me get their lives together, man, while I'm getting mine together at the same time. I'm learning just as much,
That's our terminology. That's our prison terminology also that is used in there. Politics. And we're not talking about the Department of Corrections and their political agenda. We're talking about us, the ones wearing green, and the hierarchy and the politics in there, and the code that you're required to follow in there. The longer you're there, and that your character is judged on how well you follow the convict code.
Yeah, well put.
And Jason being able to come home, he talked about how he was scared to come home. Well, man, I can only imagine. This gentleman here, this man here, he talks about when we met. I'm a big guy and hard to deal with. That's the truth. I'm 6'4", 330. And we met in maximum security prison. And you got to be at your maximum hard right there. You have to be at your maximum hard. And I'm coming out of the hole. But his requirement, his convict code says, well, that guy looks like me, so we got to go take care of that. No matter what's on the other side of that guy's soul, we're dealing with that. We have to vet him. And he will follow our code or he won't be here. Jason's the kind of guy that if he shows up on one side of the prison, the whole prison knows, and then that prison is under his control. And he spent a good portion of that being able to do that, leading and instructing people to do some pretty nefarious things. Fair?
Fair.
But not at the end. He absolutely still had all the control, but what he used that control for was to change convicts into men. To teach people to be there for one another, not to be against someone else. To teach you lessons that people that didn't have fathers need taught. Convicts into men. And did a good job at it. After I met Jason, I went, it was coming towards the end, and I was going through one of the hardest struggles of my life. I'd been sober for some time now. I'd given my life to God, but I'm in prison. It's not tested. And as you know, when you're doing that, the devil's fighting real hard. So all these things from the world were coming at me. Things with my wife and my family. I was coming home to nothing. I paroled to my mother's couch. And that stress box, that telephone on the wall will get you every time. And, not many people will get to experience being, a hardened convict in maximum security prison and then crying on the phone to your mother or your wife. And then that phone call cutting off. And then you go into your convicted murderer gang leader's cell crying about what's going on with your wife, and as opposed to him saying shut up, him talking to you as a brother and as a man and helping walk you through it, even though he's been in prison since he was a kid and didn't get to experience it himself, telling you exactly what you needed to hear, guiding you to where you needed to be, making you a soldier as opposed to a missile. And those are two hugely different things. And so why would I not want to surround myself with people like that? Isn't that the best way to build an army? The world's full of privates. Anybody could be one. But there's a bunch of captains out there that you can surround yourself with, and they will create more captains. They'll create more lieutenants. They'll create more generals, and that's what we want. We want the strongest army in the world. That army must be for God and nothing else. It has to be first on everyone's list. You can't succeed otherwise. And any level of success that you can attain outside of that, it's empty. It's nothing. It has no value. It has no strength. It has no purpose. It's not your own.
So, what's next for Silver Linings? And look, I do want to say this. We have these 34 brothers. You guys are a part of it, right? We're brothers. You have guys in that group that are worth $100 million, $200 million. They treat you guys any different?
No. Well, matter of fact, they I feel like they treat us better than we should be.
Right? Yeah.
They drop off food, drop off stuff to you, try to help you guys out, right? Help the organization.
Non-stop. It's amazing. And whenever I was talking to Jason, Chris, and Jeremy, I was telling them that, the meeting before, I forget the brother's name, and he's an older guy, and he was like, when he was telling his story, it was one of my claims in life is that every satellite on Mars has my fingerprints on there.
He's the one that I told him we never went to.
We got Joe Oltmann, so that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the room that you're walking into. I'm setting them up. I'm putting the stress on them. I'm like, this is what you're walking into, and they're like, I don't know if we should go. And I'm like, absolutely go, but we will all collectively be the brokest people in the room, that's for sure.
I told him we didn't. I said we didn't go to Mars. He got pissed. He's like, yeah, or we didn't go to the moon. He's like, yes, we did. I was like, no, we didn't.
No. And then we go and we go to the first meeting, and like I said, you were on video hauling chickens. Add that to the resume.
Yeah.
And we left, and I said, what do you guys think? And they was like, absolutely. We go to the second meeting, and you put in the message, hey, I got the suite. Y'all want to just do this at the suite? And so I looked back in the car, and I was like, hey, Joe's got the suite, the Nuggets game. Y'all want to just go there? And they was like, now? And, yeah. So they go in there, and their eyes are just,
who is this guy?
Bucket list all of the way. And we left there, and
I almost got jumped by security for my podcast.
yeah. We're on the car ride home, and Jason texted me, and I said, long way, huh?
Yeah.
And he said, absolutely, man. He said, absolutely.
That was a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
That was so cool, man.
But it's just indicative of this brotherhood, of this family, and what we want in society. And Joe, you've got this extreme surgical ability to bring people together and enhance their character traits so they got a platform to be able to do that. We're sitting here right now on your podcast.
Yeah.
You create this fraternity, and everything that you've done since I've known your name is bring people together. And you're right. You were a different Joe 20 years ago, spiritually.
Yes, I was.
But even in that part of your spirit, look at what you did. You kidding me?
Well,
you know what I mean? It wasn't to show off.
Yeah.
I'm Joe. I can buy you a house and give you a car and give you a lawyer. You didn't just do that. Caitlin's uncle, Billy Joe's brother, my best friend, rest in peace, Brian Edgar.
There's another one. You said, hey, your direction is going the wrong way.
let me fix that for you. So I created this business for you, Ancient Ferns. Here is a brand new dually. Here's a Home Depot card and a Lowe's card. Don't worry about paying those bills. Go and do great things. But before you do, go pick up this white-on-white Lincoln from this other dealership, and here's my credit card.
About this.
Take that and go do your worst for the weekend, and then start work on Monday. And he, in my opinion, I think he did a good job. We call it the MIA weekend, the Millionaire in Action weekend, and he did everything. And he shows up on Sunday with a vomit-covered Lincoln, and your credit card gives it back to you, and you laughed it off. Like you laughed it off. And Billy Joe is calling you, Joe, I can't believe you did that. What do you do? How much do you spend on your card? You're like, I don't know. I don't care. Well, I don't know. And I think you spent like 40 grand that weekend. And you just not only did you just laugh it off, you were proud that he did that, and it was go and do great things for yourself. I don't want nothing from it. It wasn't here's this business and here's my piece. It was here's this business and I'll pay the bills. Go do that. That's why and I wanted to wait after I came home. Silver Linings is a year today, but I came home July 11th of 23. And I wanted to, I'm big on showing it now. I wanted to do something in my life. I didn't want to call you and say, hey, I've made this change in my life. I've got no evidence of it, but it feels good. I wanted to call you and say, hey, I've made this change in my life, and so far, I'm here. And thank you for getting me there. Because if it's not men like you in the world, whether it's these extreme things, and these things that you've done in my life are extreme. These are huge. You won the lottery things. But every lesson, every man that you come across in your life, you give a piece of something. And it's not for you. It's not for return. It's for someone else. And look at who it's made you, brother. Look at who you are.
I
Look
just
how
wish
people
I had
think when they
Jesus
say
back
your name.
then.
Look at how people feel when they see your face. Look how people's eyes light up when they see your name that's across the phone. It's Joe.
Yeah, but then there's the other part. I have some people that don't like me either. Hence the fact I have to carry a gun.
If people don't like you, you ain't doing it right. And you got some people that really don't like you.
Yeah.
You don't just carry a gun. You carry a couple of gun stores, and you probably should, which means you're doing it so right that people, Devil's got an army too.
Yeah, he does. There's no question.
He sure does.
I do wish if I could go back in time with Brian, I wish I could have done differently. I wish I would have been harder on him in a different way because, obviously we know how that turned out. So.
Rear view mirrors.
You rear view mirrors. He's using it against me. There you go.
Yeah. Rip it off. Even on this, did he say it to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but listen, I got to tell you something. Jason was at we were at the game, and I can promise you one thing you learned in 34 years, Jason, it's to bury your emotion, except for in your eyes. Nobody can see it except for those people that know how to read it. And we all went through. Jason had a pocket knife that looked like he could open a can with it. What's he going to do? He's going to stab a fly with it, probably give it a little laceration. Right? And they acted like they're like, oh, you have tattoos? Get over here, boy. We're going to take care of you. We're up in the suite. I didn't know he wasn't there. So
They did not see if I was going to that suite.
Jason's like this. We go downstairs and you just see pissed off in the eyes Jason. And I'm like, bro, I'm sorry we left you behind. I didn't see you. Because we had like 15 people, 20 people that we took upstairs. Yeah. And it took Jason a couple minutes to come down from that, and it was like, he got in the suite and it was all over. He's like, okay, I'm good. Give me a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Somebody give me a cheeseburger. So it just shows you, that it could, and I'll use that as an example. And I said it to you that night. I was like, listen, it's good. Just water off a duck's back. We're sorry we left you there. I didn't see you. I apologize. Right. But the reality of it is that was one of those fuck it moments. Those are one of those things where you look in the rearview mirror quick, you grab a mirror quick, you do all the things, but and it doesn't matter how it's going. It's the fact that you had that stumble that wasn't even your fault over basically a tweezer knife, right? And so there's an opportunity to learn from it though, because then we're like, okay, all's good. But I know what it feels like to be stuck in that obstacle. And I think that's the thing that we've got to teach these kids. We got to teach people, this next generation. We got to teach them that we got to be able to problem solve. We got to do it without, going to the fentanyl pipe or going to the liquor store, right? We got to do it so we can literally just love on each other and get to a place where we can also be accountable and accomplish great things through work, in Him, right?
Jason was baptized Sunday.
What?
Jason was baptized. I sent you the video. I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
No, it didn't come through.
I
it did not
baptized
come
him
through.
on Sunday. I baptized Nikki, a friend of mine. I baptized your niece, and then I baptized Jason. And each one, I kept them in the water right behind it.
Extra
The
long.
YouTube video that I sent
Make
you.
him suck on water a little bit.
Oh, I kept Jason down long. Water was cold before he went in.
Yeah, it was boiling.
All right. Hey, I'm sending you this. Oh, it does work now. Okay, hold on a second. Man, I feel like let's go to 112. Hold on.
So you get three. If you're going to 112, it goes Nikki, shows her video, and then me baptize her. Then Caitlin's video, and then me baptize her. And then Jason's video, and then me baptize him. So at our church, you go before and they do, 45-minute conversation, and they condense that down to about a 3-minute video, and it's your testimonial. And that was a big one. And even the pastor said it because Jason's moniker in prison was Satan. And so the pastor being able to say, hey, even Satan got baptized today. And you see, we don't call him that no more. He's been called that for 34 years. Feels weird even saying it now.
It does. Feels weird.
It feels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's not the name that God gave him. God gave him Jason. Man's name is Jason.
I'm looking at it right now. Sorry. I'm going to have to watch them.
That's a big
That's
one.
awesome. Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Caitlin. I know she's sitting in that room behind that camera.
Cheesing.
Yeah.
Cheesing.
All right. How can people follow you? How can people help you? How can people contribute? How can people see? Tell us how to follow you.
So Facebook is where the most information about us is. We have our website, hopehappensslr.com. But, we don't have a media department, so I built that website, so forgive me. That one right there. That's on the right, you got my niece Allison and my sister Angel. Angel, so you can see on the far left, being Angel, this past year has put some stress and weight loss on her. She's going to be so mad at me that I said that. And that's her daughter, my niece Angel, right there. That's our grand opening. That's a year ago when we cut the ribbon. And that is my partner in crime. I can't take.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. I can't take the credit. My job is numbers in the principal's office. We're able to reach as many people as we do because of the skills that God has given her. Angel is unapologetically open, and you can't go anywhere with her because everyone knows her because she goes to talk to everyone. You can't be off, because everywhere you go, you will see someone suffering. If you're looking, you'll see it. Sometimes you ain't gotta look that hard, but everywhere you go, she sees it, and she don't care what you're doing. She stops what you're doing, and she goes and makes a connection with person that's in the worst of the worst and changes their lives, and shows other people how to do that. We put a lot of pictures on Facebook with the permission of our clients. Not to gloat about the things that we do, but to share the information about what they can do. We want people to know everything's here, all the resources, all the tools that are available, and all the ones that we can create. We come up with some new ones together right now today, are right here. If outside my door there was someone flying a sign, smoking a fentanyl pipe, and was suicidal at the end of their life, covered in feces and urine, right now, what is it, 420? Could have them off the street, into detox, rehab if that next step is necessary, sober living, paid for, food, clothes, paid for. And that's before our services that we provide directly kick in. We provide individual and group counseling sessions. We provide peer recovery coaches, clinicians, qualified behavioral health assistants. But it's difficult for someone to take advantage of the wisdom that's in our office, the amount of life experience that's in our office, if we don't give them a platform to do it. If you're smoking fentanyl and sleeping in a tent, it's real hard to say, well, come in here and talk to Jason. He'll give you some wise words, and then you go back out to that tent and see how it goes for you. We want to provide these resources that are available in the community. We want to combine them and give them to you, and then say, here's a spot where you can listen. There's more, and you can have it whether you listen to me or not. But let me give you this, so you've got the freedom to be able to listen. People that want to help, that want to get involved in any way, we're a creative organization. We serve meals all day long, as fast as we can cook them, and as much as we can cook, it's gone. Things like today, we had, if you'd have seen this feast, man, it was probably 100 foot of tables, and every inch of those tables were covered in home cooked, loving meals. Everything. And sometimes that's hard to come by. Sometimes it's pizza from Little Caesars.
Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to fix your link for your donate now link online. It's broken.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
So we're gonna have to fix that. So, but they can go to hopehappensslr.com.
Correct.
Okay, it's in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Yes.
I'm gonna have you guys on again, Jason. Next time I'm gonna make you talk more.
All right.
So, and I'm gonna bring on some of your other team members. I didn't mention him because I didn't know if he wanted to be mentioned because he's not on the show. But yeah, it's all good in the hood. Maybe get Angel on as well.
I'll get you everybody that you could have on. I'll fill the room.
All right. Brothers, I thank you for telling your story and being so vulnerable and authentic. I thank you for the work you've done in the Brotherhood. And I thank you for the work you're doing to save these young men and women from themselves on the streets. So obviously give everyone my best. I love you, and I will see you both soon.
We love you too, brother. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Joe. It's been an honor.
All right. God bless you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. And you'd say, well, that's not the same story as having someone on from the election stuff or someone from, this is actually more important. This is actually what makes our communities go around. And before 2020, this is, I was remembering the story that he was talking about with Brian and what I did way back 20 some odd years ago, 21 years ago. And yeah, I've always kind of been the same. But I didn't really have Jesus in my life then. I was kind of I partied hard. I partied like a rock star. But very, 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 very good men. Good men that make mistakes. It makes you think about the people that you come into contact with. Yeah. Let's read some of the comments. Thank you, Adam and Jason. Prayers up to you all for organization. Love you, brothers. That's from Jeff. Jeff, thank you. Good job, boys. Refreshing, shows us hope. There's lots of hope. Chris says, I struggle with the love thy enemy commandment. So do I. Man, it's so hard because I don't like being treated as if I did something wrong. When people attack you for 5 years, you lose humanity a little bit. This show reminded me that I've had that humanity for a long time, and it's been a blessing. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff real quick. Tolerance. You know, we talk about Jason and we talk about Michael and Adam, and we have this brotherhood, and not everybody feels the same way. Some people don't like President Trump, some people do inside this brotherhood. Now, I had the one guy could not make the cut. Just going to tell you, he did not make the cut because he called me afterwards and says, I can't believe you like Trump. And I was like, so? Like, I don't really care what you think, right? I didn't ask you about whether you liked or didn't like Trump. I didn't care. Like, we're supposed to be here to support each other. You don't have anybody in your family that likes Trump? And he goes, not that I talk to anymore. I was like, well, you're off the island, bud, because you got a bunch of people that like Trump. You got a bunch of people that respect Trump. You got a bunch of people that will serve and do the things that are necessary for the ideals that Trump represents. So, and not the ones that they say and they lie about in the media, but the ones that he's actually doing good within the community in order to make things safer, like going to, Ward 7 and Ward 8 in Anacostia and taking care of those people by putting National Guard there so that these really bad people stop shooting people in the community, the gang members. Now, there's two sides of this. One, I love on gang members when we're playing on the football team. But if you were to shoot at me, I'm going to hurt you, right? I'm going to pray over you when it's done. This is the perfect example of being in conflict with yourself a little bit. I wanted you to see a different side. I wanted you to see it from the side of these brothers. 34 years he spent in prison. 34 years. And I got to meet Michael on Saturday. What a great young man. Susan Rice says, great show today, Joe. Love for my enemy is that I don't want him or her to go to hell. Yeah, so Jeff, I'm going to tell you something. When I say this, these are my brothers. When I go play football and I get the chance to play and compete, they're my brothers. Now, if I step off of that and they try to do something harmful to somebody else, at that point, they might still be my brother, but they're going to meet their maker real quick. And I don't mean just being stupid. I mean doing real harm to people in my community, right? And so we have to walk. I think it's a delicate walk because people are always trying to figure out what side, what football jersey to wear, right? And I'm like, don't wear a jersey. Just go out there naked. Strut your stuff. It is important that we get back to a place where we can bridge the common ground. The common ground has nothing to do with ideologies. It has everything to do with community and doing the right thing based on basic ethics and morals. And you can still love on someone that has a different agreement than you do. They're not your enemy. What's our enemy is the people that have divided us. And both sides are unhappy. And those people that are dividing us have put us in this bad place and have used useful idiots in order to get things done. I want to show you a little bit of that. This is a TPUSA event outside of UC Berkeley. This is the ex-home of Eric Coomer. After a Trump supporter and Antifa members started brawling, go ahead and play cut two.
Break it up! Break it up! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Hey, white boy! Break it up! You're bleeding, bitch! Yep. Hey, white boy! You're bleeding, white boy! Hey, white boy! White boy! You're bleeding! Break it up! What happened? What happened, white boy? Relax. Take a deep breath. Relax. Do not. Do not. Do not. Relax. What happened, white boy? Hey, white boy, what the fuck happened?
Guy tried to rob me. Okay.
Can you guys step back, please? You guys can film, but just...
Talk now, or you...
Hey, you got cracked up. You got cracked, motherfucker. Give me the other hand. Give me the other hand. Can you please move it away from here? What's that?
Yeah, so that guy, by the way, is a known operative. Known Antifa operative, that guy was. The one that didn't want his face on thing. We've run his entire thing. I've got an entire show I'm going to do on that guy. That's number one. Number two is, here's, yeah, they always want to make it about race. Here's a liberal starter pack. Can we put this up here? I'm going to put this up here real quick. This is a liberal starter pack. I'm offended and I don't know why. It truly is. They are a very violent group of people that haven't really gotten their teeth kicked in, because you saw that the police went after the TPUSA guy. They didn't go after the Antifa guy. No, they treated him with kid gloves. We have a serious problem in our country. Serious problem. Let's play this cut 3. This is attendees at UC Berkeley are behind the police line. Let's go ahead. And this is what it looks like when attendees are trying to get into UC Berkeley. By the way, they say Nazis not at Berkeley. Just so you know, they're acting like Nazis. They're actually exactly what they say they're not. That's why I call them useful idiots. Antifa is the most infectious, disgusting, most evil group of people everywhere. Now, with that said, I had a beautiful conversation with a Antifa, literally, a couple days ago. I was at a coffee shop. He was wearing an Antifa shirt. I walked up and I was like, "You believe that bullshit?" He's like, "Yeah." And he stood up. And I was like, "I wouldn't stand up in a posture, because I'll put you right on your ass." I said, "I'm gonna ask you some questions. You want to answer them? You want to have a civil conversation? Great. But if you act like you're tough in front of me, I will throw you around like a rag doll." And he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Sit down." And he sat right back down. And I was like, "Great. Can I sit down and talk to you?" So I did. Asked him a bunch of questions. I was like, why would people be fascist? Why is it fascist? And to his credit, he didn't get upset at that point. He thought I was going to attack him. He thought I was going to ridicule him. And I didn't. I just had a conversation about, are you happy with how things are going? He's like, "No." "Were you happy 3 years ago?" He goes, "No." I said, "Were you happy 5 years ago?" He goes, "No." I was like, "Neither am I." So neither one of us are happy and none of us are getting what we want. What does that tell you? He goes, "Our leaders suck." Bingo. Yes, they suck. They're awful. They're bought and paid for. I said this before, we don't need a third party, we need a second one. We need something that represents the people, not ones that stand on their high horse and tell us that they know what's good for us. They don't know what's good for us. Because they absolutely talk in circles and talk about, we need to serve the American people. Tell me which ones have served the American people. They've none of the American people. But this is what they did. They turned this event into a war zone. This is what they represent, is everything that is bad about it. That's why I said we got another 63 days. So as I said that we were going to go to war, we're headed there, right? But let's see what they did at this Turning Point event in Berkeley. Play the next cut. Yeah, go ahead, punch me in the face. I want you to. You'll notice that they're wearing hijabs. You'll notice that they're wearing masks. Look, if you're a real man, you don't need a mask. You're not afraid of anybody knowing who you are. You're right? You're on the right side of things. Here's a different site of a protest in California. There's a woman who was confronted at a protest about what she was protesting. Let's go ahead and play it.
And with having a pathway.
An opinion when this isn't your land. This is mine.
You're a
Get
white.
off my lawn.
Here goes the crazy one. You're a white girl.
No, I'm not.
I don't- Okay, okay. Calm down.
No, I'm very calm.
Calm down.
Get off my lawn,
This
Nazi.
is not stolen land.
Yes, the fuck
tribe?
it is.
The
I'm
ones
Chief
that
of
were
Homicide.
the ones that were eating people, or the ones that were enslaving
No
people?
one
Which
fucking
tribe?
ate anybody.
Which
That's
tribe?
a racist goddamn lie that you guys use to justify our genocide.
You're being racist to me, saying that I. There you go.
I would have punched her. I'm telling you.
There you go. There's the assault. That's the third assault today from the terrorist.
Terrorists?
Yes, the terrorist.
This is my land,
So you
buddy.
consider terrorism?
That's a.
Oh,
he just
no,
assaulted
that
me.
hurt your feelings. That didn't infringe your rights. That just hurt your feelings.
Well, no,
No
that's
one's
assault.
oppressing
No,
you
just
here.
you just commit a crime.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Did I?
You did. And she was arrested, which is good. This is a lady named Jennifer Welsh, says Trump voters shouldn't be allowed to eat ethnic food. Play it.
I've had it with white people that triple trumped. Yeah. That have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. And if you want to triple Trump and you want to browbeat DEI and you want to browbeat gay people and you want to browbeat black people as you've been doing for 400 years, and you want to browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses earnestly, pay their taxes, you want to demonize them and call them rapists and felons and all this shit when the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom piece of shit, Kankles McTaco tits at the top of the ticket. I have had it from top to bottom. White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel, because nobody wants to see your smug ass, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut around. Nobody wants to see that shit. No one.
This is my smug ass. See, this is smug ass right here. That's one of your Jewish white people. I'm not a white person. That's that piece of trash. By the way, I've changed my mind. Like, I don't care who you are, what you are. If you assault me, I'm throwing you around like a rag doll. So I'll pray for you afterwards. But I've just made a decision. I wasn't going to do it before. Then I see if somebody spit on me, I'm not sure I could control myself. I think that guy had great control. I wouldn't have controlled myself. I would have put her on the ground and pinned her down. And then I would have started a fight with her. I would have done that thing. Why? Because there's no civility. They don't have civility. They're animals. And by the way, the woman in white, she's not standing up for black or brown people, because she wouldn't have been wearing that Louis Vuitton outfit that was made by a sex slave in Cambodia. That's who makes that stuff. It's people over in different other worlds used as slave labor. Then she goes and spends $2,500 on it. She didn't care about people. This is the virtue signaling that we get. Whew. This is president of Antifa in Oregon, the organization that doesn't exist. Play it.
I'm out here with this flag because I'm the president of Antifa. Give me one name. One Antifa name. Mine's Michael Dudley. Is it me? And I molest children.
You're wearing an Antifa
t-shirt. Yeah. I've seen it with my own eyes. Yeah. You're women down on the ground. Yeah. Don't question somebody that has a IQ over 120, you dipshit. Oh. He's wearing a mask. Petulant children. Your children. Tell everybody. Yeah, you need to go home here in a little bit because curfew. You know, back in the 70s, we had to go home. As soon as the street lights went off and come down and got dark, we had to be home. That was back in the 70s. Just, yeah, right? Are you MAGA kids? MAGA kids. MAGA fuck kids. And you don't agree with kids. All of the ideas. Have you spent all your fentanyl money? MAGA fuck. Hey Mike, have you spent all your fentanyl money yet? I don't know you, so I'm not answering you. Have you spent all your fentanyl money? It wasn't enough the first time. You will continue to be. You steal your medicine from your grandma? I'll answer you if you reveal yourself, but you won't. Come right here, buddy. Oh, there you go. I can't see you behind that fucking light. Okay, I remember you.
First of all, I wouldn't go to a protest because I don't really want to engage in that type of conversation. I'd rather have it at a coffee shop. By the way, that conversation ended well. Let me finish how that ended. I gave him a hug, say, hey, listen, I think you're wrong. I know at least one other Antifa person that made the switch because he was the one that gave me access to the call. So I think there's lots of people that were Antifa that have left Antifa because they have realized that they're nutballs. But here you go. Here's the same guy eating pepper spray off the sidewalk. Play it.
There you go. All that pepper. I can handle it. All right. Don't bother me a bit.
This is real life. Man, we have come really far when that is considered somewhat normal. Like, we can't have a conversation, we have to lick pepper balls off the floor. Man, you're completely normal when you do that, for sure. And here's a news report from BBC News that you're not going to believe. Go ahead and play it.
Now, a transgender woman's milk is just as good for babies as breast milk. That's according to a letter from the medical director at University Hospital Sussex NHS Foundation Trust. The claim was made as part of a response against campaign groups. The trust referred to studies and the World Health Organization guidance, including one case which found what it called no observable effects in babies fed by induced lactation.
I can't do it. Yeah, over here you have beautiful women's milk, and over here you have battery acid. They're both just as good for you. No, really. And with a straight face, I shall tell you, in the middle of London, being from the middle of, in Jerkistan or wherever she's from, that you can have induced lactated milk from a dude, and that you should feed that to a baby. Do you see how silly this is? It is silly. It is silly, 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 silly. Okay, I'm done. I gotta get on a call and go through some stuff. So, man, it's a lot. It's a lot. All right, let's pray this out. I gotta go. Induced lactation. That's what they said, Allie. I wanted to show people where Allie is because she abandoned me for the second time, moved away from me, and moved to a different state with all of my nieces and nephews. But now I got a place to go visit, so that'll be good. And I'm glad you guys are in a more sane place. If anybody wants to comment on the fact that it's normal to lick pepper balls and put it on your gums, which is what you do, I guess, when you're playing with cocaine, then if you can justify that, somebody can justify that for me, I'd really appreciate it. I'm not sure any normal person could. I never fully understood why God destroyed the world in a flood until these things. Living in America, 76, you're right. Allie moved out of Colorado. Yes, Dr. D moved, gone. Yeah, I think I have literally hit the Powerball of stupid when we deal with some of this stuff. But I also think that a large part of our population is left behind on both sides. Nobody's happy right now. And we're not happy when a J6 bomber can just basically run the streets and run amok and then have people like Julie Kelly stand up. You know, you had someone that was basically a DA, that his whole job was to put bad people away, who's saying, I can't argue with what you're saying. So everyone can see it, but nobody's doing anything about it, and they're staying away from it. Our judges are rotted to the core. The judiciary has literally turned into just a playground for crime. And you have President Trump that is diabolically opposed to crime, and people in states that are saying that we need to stop President Trump from stopping crime. It's absurd. The absurd has become absurd. And this is what you do, by the way, when you're trying to break down social constructs and to destroy the country. So congratulations, it's working. Like I said, we're going to go to war, but I think we need to pray. And just pray. Pray. You're going to have to pray. Okay. Father God, thank you for the opportunity today to have such amazing guests. Thank you, Father, for the redemption value of today's episode. Thank you for the men that have torn off the rearview mirror and they're doing righteous things to help others lift themselves up. Father, we're grateful for the people in our community that have been able to see what is truly happening, whether they're Democrat or Republican or independent. We are grateful, Father, that we have the ability to see with our own eyes what is right in front of us as they sit here and lie to us over and over and over again. Help us, Father, that we may stand together. Help us that we may find a way to maneuver this, whatever this is. I don't even know what it is. It's demonic. And that you'll make us so that we can serve our part. I'm concerned, Father. I look at it and the calmness that I have is knowing that one way or another, I know that your will be done. But I ask you to give us the tools, give us the ability, and give us the strength and courage to stand against this ridiculousness that we face. Father, we love you, and we thank you for the blessings you've given us in our life. I say these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Mental illness on steroids. Yes, it is, Gammy. Yes, it is. All right, I'll see you guys later. We have a new Facts Blast on the website. It's on page 1. Go look at it. It's freeing Tina, so Veterans Day hostage in her own country. Just to let you know, she was a Gold Star mom, serving 9.5 years because of a corrupt judge. A corrupt, terrible judge. That's what our country's become. We need God's vengeance right now more than ever to stop what's happening in our country. And we'll have it. We just got to be patient. We got to remain faithful. All right, God bless you all. I'll see you soon.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. designed to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown, tame nation. It's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever